Basically, those that hadn't left, prior to the fire getting there just had to run for their lives. The fire front came through incredibly quickly. The winds were horrific. They were up, over 100 kilometres an hour.
There was so much smoke you couldn't see what was going on. You had no idea where the fire was.
It was a large branch, fell across power lines, pushed the power lines into the leaf litter, and there was a fire, not much bigger than a bucket when I first saw it, and that expanded so quickly, it was unbelievable.
It happened so fast because the fire went down into the valley behind us. Once it started up the hill behind us, it just went like a rocket. It just must have got faster and faster and faster. So there was nothing you could do.
Simon's house, it was a wall of flame that swept through, and his house, just sort of burst into flames. There's probably almost nothing he could have done to save his house, but that's very different to what we experienced. Eventually, a fire sort of jumped across the road so far into the bush that they just couldn't contain it.
I found that my mother-in-law was still in the house, went out again, and it seems though the garage beside the house was starting to burn. So I grabbed her and we just ran. Went to get in my van and found that there was a fire truck parked in front of it, so I couldn't drive out. My wife's car was still parked in the driveway and the keys were in it. I backed out onto the road, front of the car was on fire. And drove up the road. And I stopped in front of a fire truck and popped the bonnet and said, "Can you put this out, please?" And then I went back to find out where my wife was, because I had no idea. And it was about half an hour later that I found that she had been in the fire truck, and they'd driven out, and we met up then.
All these houses from that one, the one that's the other side of there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 houses. They all had fire right around them. This is a house that belonged to a good friend called Josephine. She'd actually sold the house before the fire, and she was down in the city working, and he was up here with 3 kids. As the fire approached, he just hopped in his car and drove away and never came back. In almost all the cases of the people that lost their houses in this street, they all ended up leaving. None of them rebuilt. The main thing that we lost was just good friends leaving the street and leaving, basically leaving your life. It is an amazing change when it happens that quickly. Like half the population of the street, at least, just went after that, 1 hour of fire, basically.
Like there's so many things that are just memories. But somehow I didn't really mourn the loss of all my possessions, because there was absolutely nothing left. There was nothing at all. I never went back to Mount Victoria to live. There were no fences, there was the trees gone and everything. There was no buildings. I decided that I'd prefer to set up in Blackheath rather than go back to Mount Victoria.
There's bushfires like there never has been before, and they're almost certainly going to increase to way worse than they are now.
I think having decent insurance is important. It's certainly, after the event, it takes away a huge amount of stress. And maybe that's something that really helped.
There's been new people moving into the street, which is great. Young people that are building houses, and they've probably got a whole different reality to what I have about what the street is, and that's fine, it's good. Life goes on.